So yesterday I went and saw the new Tom and Jerry movie that came out in late February, and I thought was good but not the best. So in this video I'm going to be telling you all the good, the bad, and the ugly about the new Tom and Jerry movie. Starting off with the good about this movie is that I actually found it pretty funny. There were multiple parts in the movie where I found myself laughing out loud at the hilarious antics of Tom and Jerry. Their fighting, as well as them fighting with the side characters, makes the movie for me. Honestly, if this were a movie that didn't have Tom and Jerry in it, then this would have been a terrible movie. But Tom and Jerry, because it's Tom and Jerry, they just make the entire movie. I also found Michael Pena and Ken Jeong's character quite funny as well, as far as the humans go. I mean, all the other human characters, oh, they weren't as funny, but those two in particular, they were pretty funny. Another thing I liked about this movie is the cast. I recognize a lot of these people from a lot of other places, and that helped me to enjoy the movie more because I like to see these people in movies. So that helped me get into the story a lot more, even though the story's not very good. I also didn't mind the animation style in this film. It actually reminded me of a lot of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but more updated, and I thought that really helped this movie, because if these animals had been real, like the Lion King remake, and they were all real, then this would not have been nearly as funny, since you can't do as much with real animals. But since they were cartoons, it made this movie all the more hilarious. Well, that's about it for the good, so let's get into the bad. And one of the main things I thought that were bad about this movie was the story. I mean, the story, it wasn't very interesting or compelling. And the worst part is that it wasn't about Tom and Jerry. It was about this other character, this blonde girl's character, and she is this con artist, and we're supposed to be rooting for her. But I find it very hard to root for her when she's making everyone else's lives harder through her actions. And I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But one of the things I really want to talk about first, before I get to the main character, I forget her name, it's like Chloe something, in her last name, it's hard to pronounce or whatever. But before I talk about her, I want to get to Michael Pena's character, because I honestly thought that he was funny in the beginning, but towards the end, they make him out to be a villain for doing his job. He's the only one in this movie that has literal common sense about running a 5-star hotel, and the manager is just this buffoon, okay? And instead, the manager gets angry and fires Michael Pena's character over the new girl who's been working there for like 4 hours, okay? And that was because the guy was doing his job, okay? He got fired for doing his job correctly and not being an idiot, and that was a problem I had with the movie. And now getting back to the thing about how Tom and Jerry aren't the main characters. They're not. It's about this blonde girl, Chloe or whatever, and so she is conning this place. First she steals this other girl's resume that has all these nice credentials, and applies at this hotel to work, and she gets the job because of this other girl's resume. Then she keeps making then she has these absurd ideas of how to get rid of this mouse, which is Jerry, by bringing in Tom, and the boss thinks that's a smart idea, when Michael Pena's character, again, with common sense, says that's stupid because they're just going to mess up the joint, which they do. They literally destroy a room, and somehow she gets away with it, and it doesn't make much sense. And it's hard to root for her because, you know, she's doing a bad thing, and yet they make her the main character, and then they make Michael Pena the bad guy for being someone with, like, a reasonable mind. There's also this wedding thing that's going on in the film that you honestly don't really care about. I mean, there's this all drama in the background about how the relationship isn't actually good. And the husband, he actually stars in SNL a lot. He does the weekend updates. I didn't find him funny at all. I found him kind of obnoxious in like most of the adults in this film, an idiot. So I did not find his character enjoyable as much as I wish I could have. So overall, I have to say that I did enjoy this movie, although I don't think I'll watch it again for a while, and I don't suggest to go in theaters and see it. I will wait for it to come out on a streaming service. I think it's on HBO Max right now. You should just sign up for that, spend like the $13 instead of spending like $30-40 just to go to the movies with your family and see this movie. It is definitely not worth the theater experience. Even though it does have some light humor in there that makes me chuckle, overall, it's more of a kid's movie. I mean, if you're not a kid, you probably won't enjoy it as much. So overall, I'm going to have to give this movie a 6 out of 10.